Hi, welcome to Carpo's Reality and a beautiful, slightly cloudy day. But if it's t-shirt weather out here, I'm set. In this reality session, I'd like to talk about the way we view our species as a whole. And I've talked about this a lot before, but it's something that I keep covering because I find it important. How our viewpoint about the world we live in is affected by so many different factors. Not only the television we watch or the news we read or the people we know or the environment we live in, but as well our personal situation we may be in, how we feel financially will determine how we feel about the finances in the world in general, whether or not we can eat and drink and sleep. And as I'm sitting out here in my garden, which is all tilled up and ready for the summer, I got my pond behind me in my yard. This is my place, my property. Yeah, it's technically not mine. You always have to pay property tax, but the point being that I am a free American citizen, and I don't take that for granted. And I am able to do what I want on my property, and I have rights, and I can grow my own food, and I know that there are places in the world where people don't even have basic water. They're sleeping in slums, millions of people in these slums. And it's sad, and I do think about those things. But I don't let that, of course, my view of the world, I guess what I'm saying is not all dandy and fine just because my life is fine. I do have humility, and I do have empathy for others and sympathy. I think that most people do. So my point in that is that I know that people tend to think that folks in general just don't care, that they're just going on with their daily lives, but people really do care. People want to make a difference. People will make a donation to that charity or something, not because they feel obligated, but of course we all do, but to a degree we want to help, but we want to do the right thing and make sure that the money's going to the right people if we are giving to charities. And that's one of the hardest things. There's so much corruption. It's hard to know where to turn. So our view of the world is determined by how many times we've been lied to, how many situations we've had in our personal lives. And I guess this is somewhat inspired by the comment I got earlier where someone was saying that humans... I gotta turn that off. That scared me. Sorry about that. But I'm on a roll. I can't start over now. And somebody was saying that humans are, I don't know if it was a joke or not, but that humans are like demons sent here to destroy life, lesser life forms. And I thought about that because a lot of people feel that way about humanity, that we're just a scourge, that we're just a disease. We've been described as a virus, and I used to feel that way about us. And I realized it was because there was a virus within my own mentality. And that's one of the most important things I could ever convey to people is that, like, if there's any message that I could ever get out there, even though a lot of the stuff I talk about is just random, opinions, semantics, whatnot, this is one thing I know for a fact, is that if you view the world as a negative place, it will become more so. If you view the world as a positive place, it will become more so. And this doesn't mean that you have to ignore the problems, and that's the main focus, is that it allows you to be very selective about the problems you want to deal with and the things that you want to help in this world. Like another person was saying in a comment that, there's philosophers that think and then there's people that do, whereas I disagreed with that. Said some of the philosophers in history have been the movers and shakers of our society. They're the ones that are remembered. Perhaps some of them don't do anything themselves, but they think up the ideas that others can use to, further write, project these. Like Socrates didn't ever write anything. Aristotle wrote about him. And, the Socratic method came to be, and a lot of people had a lot of respect and reverence for these people. So, having knowledge isn't about, of course, just the wisdom collected. It's about using that universally, like I've said. But if we see our society as a negative place, then it becomes scary quickly for example, if we look at the news as a good example and we see that, oh, somebody got mugged downtown Portland, we think, oh God, somebody got shot downtown Portland. It doesn't happen that often around here. It's pretty safe. I think that most people are just scared by their own fears and ideas. So by changing our mentality about that, it becomes a different place. The world becomes a different place. And we can start to see things a little bit differently. So, in conclusion, I would like to talk about whether or not we can actually destroy lesser life in the earth, or the universe for that matter. I know that we like to think that we have a lot of power, that we like to think that we can destroy a lot. All the nuclear weapons in the world detonated at once, even a partial amount of them would completely annihilate us. Basically, it would be all out chaos. And the question is, how long in time standards would that be an issue? How long until life regained ground? A few thousand years? 10,000 years? 50,000 years? In the big scope of things, it would appear that we destroyed the planet. Now, this is the most extreme case. Now, if a virus wiped us out, or we destroyed ourselves through, starvation, that's a totally different story. That's not going to leave a scourge on the earth. The earth will just replenish itself. I think that people's biggest problem is the fact that we're killing off the environment and we're polluting it. But if you consider this, that fossil fuels, although right now, we're depleting them, sure, but once they're gone, right? Or we'll find other methods. It's a horrible thing, and the fact that we're burning them is much worse. But how long will it take the Earth to regain her atmosphere? My belief is that rather than, that global warming is a trigger for a coming ice age here, which will, if you look at the, if you look at the ocean conveyor, which the conveyor belt that goes through the entire ocean system, it has to do with the salinity, how much salt water is sinking up north due to glaciers melting. Too much melt will dilute the water, the conveyor stops. This has happened in history many times. Desertification, empty oceans. Oceans are the lifeline to our world, okay? And we're totally annihilating them. It's like our dumping ground for everything. The military still goes out there and dumps nuclear waste all the time. So if we consider the nukes that we have, it's nothing compared to the amount of nuclear waste that's actually out there right now, just buried in random places or thrown off of ships. So, yeah, we fucked up. The question is, how bad? And that's where we come to nothing more than conjecture. We can't actually draw a picture of what's going to happen to the Earth in the future. But if history is any indicator, 65 million years ago, the dinosaurs ruled the Earth. Even 250 million years ago, there were giant creatures roaming on the Earth. These are giant spans of time. As soon as the dinosaurs died out, that was pretty much it. Most life on Earth died. Well over 90%, I'm not sure the exact amount. The ones that survived flourished, and it made way for primates and humans. And that in itself was an amazing thing, but it doesn't mean we're the be-all end-all of evolution. Once we destroy ourselves, or we get destroyed, something else will take our place. So I guess my point here is that to think we have a major impact on the world isn't the issue. I think our fear is that we have an impact on ourselves. And sure, we want to save the whales. The blue whale is the largest creature that's ever lived on the Earth. Ever. And to think that, we've been killing off all these whales. Whales are just utterly amazing creatures. And we're living in a time when there's so many amazing creatures. I feel like we are abusing it, and I see why it's frustrating. Because it's not like I'm saying, oh, well, we can't hurt anything, because we are. We're messing up bad. But I guess my glimmer of hope here is that in the long run, things will be better for the planet. And our effect on the universe is negligible. I guess if you believe in any type of afterlife or spiritual existence out in space, or maybe that we'd take some cosmic role or evolve for another planet, and then maybe you feel differently about it. But my thought is that our souls, while significant to us, are not significant to the big picture as much as we'd like them to be. Although that doesn't mean that we don't have several lives or that our soul doesn't carry on for a long time. But the point is that everything ends, okay? Everything started, everything ends. No matter how you look at it or whether you think that, there's a beginning and an end, everything is a cycle. So everything dies and is reborn. It's just the way life is. It's awesome to just look around and look at all the grass around me and the plants, the potatoes that are coming up in my compost pile. I noticed from throwing out old potato chunks. Watching nature just flourish from these genetic codes that are just imprinted in these seeds. I sprouted a few Thai seeds from some cannabis I was given, some seeds from my buddy John, and I sprouted 10 of them. 9 of them sprouted, and only 3 of them came up, but they're nice, big, healthy sprouts. These are 50 years old. Seeds have been found in tombs that are much older than that. These genetics just sit there, and they're preserved. And nature does it flawlessly, and improves upon it. Evolution isn't merely just a chance factor, random mutation. I won't get into that, but it's mutation, but it's not random. It's mutation and evolution to suit the environment, and how that works. This is why science has a problem with this, because you can't say that the evolution is directed by the environment, because if so, then you're saying that there's some direct correlation that the environment itself is programming the genes, but it is. It is. Just like we learn behaviors and pass them on to other generations. So hopefully we learn some good behaviors, pass them on to our future generations. Peace.